Have you ever noticed that the stairs feel a little steeper than they used to? That carrying a laundry basket feels heavier, or standing up from a chair takes more effort than it did just a few years ago? Maybe you've been waking up tired, even after a full night's sleep, or you find yourself avoiding walks or chores, not because you don't want to, but because your body just doesn't seem to have the strength anymore. If that sounds familiar, I want to tell you something important. You are not alone. And it's not just old age. What you're feeling could be the result of something called age-related muscle loss, or sarcopenia, a slow, silent process that affects nearly every adult over 60. The body naturally begins to lose muscle mass as we age, especially if we're not eating the right nutrients or staying active. And when we lose muscle, it doesn't just affect our arms or legs, it affects everything. Our balance, our energy, our independence, even our mood and memory. The hardest part? It often happens without warning. You're still you, but you feel weaker, slower, more tired than before. You start to believe this is just how life will be now. But I'm here to gently challenge that belief, because there is something you can do about it. And it doesn't require medication, gym memberships, or expensive supplements. In fact, it starts with just one simple food. A food so basic, so accessible, that you may already have it in your kitchen right now. In today's video, we're going to talk about why muscle loss happens, how it affects your overall health, and most importantly, how one protein-rich, amino acid-packed food can help you reverse the fatigue, regain your strength, and feel more like yourself again. Yes, whether you're 60, 70, 80, or even beyond, it is still possible to rebuild muscle, restore energy, and move with confidence. So, if you've ever said, "I wish I had more energy," or "I'm just not as strong as I used to be," please stay with me. This video could change how you eat, how you move, and how you feel, starting today. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks, everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1. Why muscle loss happens. After 60, every morning for the past 30 years, Harold took a quiet walk around his neighborhood. Nothing fancy, just a few blocks, waving to neighbors, feeling the breeze on his face. But one morning, as he rounded the corner near his house, he realized he had to stop and catch his breath. His legs felt heavier than usual. His balance felt off. It wasn't pain. It was something more subtle. He didn't fall. He didn't stumble. But in his heart, he knew something had changed. That day, he skipped the rest of his walk, and the next. And soon, walking felt more like a chore than a joy. What Harold was experiencing is something many older adults go through without realizing it. It's called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that naturally occurs as we age. It often begins in our 50s or 60s, and if nothing is done to slow or reverse it, the body continues to lose 1 to 2% of muscle each year. By the time we reach our 70s or 80s, we may have lost up to 1/3 of our muscle mass. Not because of disease, but simply because we haven't given our bodies what they need to hold on to it. This muscle loss doesn't always scream. It whispers. It shows up when you need help rising from a chair, when the stairs feel steeper than before, when you stop carrying your laundry upstairs or stop gardening because crouching down takes too much effort. It hides in everyday choices. "I'll just stay home today," or "I'll skip the walk, just this once." And before you know it, those choices become your new normal. But here's what most people don't know. Muscle isn't just about looking strong, it's about living strong. Your muscles support your balance, your coordination, your circulation, and even your brain health. They help regulate blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and protect you from falls and injury. When you lose muscle, you lose confidence, and when confidence fades, so does independence. Yet this process is not irreversible, not even close. Even at 60, 70, 80, and beyond, your muscles can regain strength, rebuild mass, and restore stability, but only if they are given the right building blocks. And that begins with protein, especially high-quality protein that contains all the essential amino acids your body needs to repair and grow muscle tissue. Unfortunately, most seniors, like Harold, simply don't get enough. Whether it's a loss of appetite, changes in taste, or outdated fears about cholesterol, many older adults cut back on protein just when they need it most. The result? A slow decline in physical function that feels like aging, but is really just undernourishment. Let me ask you gently, have you noticed that everyday movements feel harder lately? That your body tires more easily? Or that you're avoiding activities you once enjoyed? What if this wasn't just a natural part of aging, but your body quietly asking for help? Harold didn't stop walking forever. Once he understood what was happening and made small changes to his diet, he began adding more protein to his meals. 1 egg in the morning, a little fish at lunch, Greek yogurt with fruit in the afternoon. Within weeks, he felt more stable, his legs stronger, and one morning, without thinking, he walked the full block again, smiling, knowing it wasn't too late to feel like himself again. Because aging isn't about giving up muscle, it's about giving your body what it needs to hold on to it. In the next section, we'll look deeper at how protein deficiency quietly affects millions of older adults and why changing this one thing could change everything. Number 2, the hidden impact of protein deficiency. At 74, Ellen was still fiercely independent. She lived alone, did her own shopping, paid her bills on time, and made simple, healthy meals. Most days she had oatmeal for breakfast, a banana and toast for lunch, and something light like soup or a salad for dinner. She didn't snack much, avoided red meat, and thought she was doing everything right. But recently she'd been feeling different, more tired than usual, slower to get out of bed, and her hands felt weaker when she gripped the steering wheel. When she caught a cold, it lingered for nearly 2 weeks. Her doctor told her everything looked fine, but she didn't feel fine. Something was off. What Ellen didn't know, and what many people over 60 don't realize, is that she was likely experiencing the slow, quiet effects of protein deficiency. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing and using the protein we eat. That means even if you're eating the same amount of protein you did at 40, your body may no longer be getting the same benefit at 70. And yet, many older adults end up eating less protein, either because of reduced appetite, difficulty chewing, digestive discomfort, or long-standing beliefs that protein-heavy foods like meat or eggs are bad for cholesterol or kidneys. The truth is, protein is not optional in later life, it's essential. Without enough high-quality protein and the essential amino acids it provides, the body begins to slowly break down muscle tissue to survive. And this loss doesn't just make you feel weaker, it affects everything: your balance, your immune system, your energy, your recovery time after illness or surgery, even your mood and memory. It can cause your skin to bruise more easily, your wounds to heal slower, your bones to feel more brittle. You might think you're just slowing down, but what's really happening is that your body is underfed at the cellular level. And because it happens gradually, most people don't notice until the signs become too obvious to ignore. Constant fatigue, unsteady walking, lack of appetite, repeated illnesses, or unexplained weight loss. But here's the good news. Just like Ellen, you can change course. Once her daughter noticed how thin her arms looked and how long it took her to get off the couch, she gently encouraged Ellen to adjust her meals. They added 2 eggs a few times a week, some cottage cheese with fruit in the afternoons, and grilled salmon once a week. No complicated diets, just simple, gentle shifts. Within a month, Ellen said she felt like she had more staying power. She wasn't napping as much. Her cold symptoms disappeared faster. She even started watering her garden again without needing to sit down halfway through. Let me ask you gently, could your fatigue, your slower movement, your fading strength be something as simple and as fixable as missing protein? In the next section, we'll reveal the everyday food that changed everything for Ellen and could be a simple, affordable key to rebuilding strength, energy, and confidence after 60. Number 3, the one food that can help reverse it. When Ellen began adjusting her diet to regain strength, the food that made the biggest difference wasn't something expensive or exotic. It was something simple, affordable, and already sitting in her fridge: eggs. For many older adults, eggs have quietly fallen off the menu. Years of warnings about cholesterol or confusion about what's healthy have led many seniors to avoid them altogether. But the truth is, eggs are one of the most powerful, nutrient-dense foods a person over 60 can eat, especially for those struggling with muscle loss, fatigue, and slow recovery. Each egg contains about 6 to 7 grams of high-quality protein, along with all 9 essential amino acids that the body needs but can't produce on its own. These amino acids are the raw materials your body uses to rebuild muscle tissue, repair cells, and stay strong. One of these, leucine, plays a particularly important role in activating muscle growth and recovery, something that becomes even more critical as we age. But eggs do more than build muscle. They support brain health, bone strength, immune function, and energy levels through key nutrients like vitamin B12, choline, vitamin D, and selenium. For someone like Ellen, who had unknowingly gone years eating less protein than her body required, adding eggs to her daily meals felt like refueling an engine that had been running on empty. She started small, one soft-boiled egg with breakfast every other day. Then she added scrambled eggs with spinach for lunch once or twice a week. Within a few weeks, she began to feel steadier on her feet. Her hands stopped shaking when she lifted her teacup. She needed fewer naps, felt more alert in the morning, and even started walking to her garden again without feeling winded. What changed wasn't her age or her medication, it was her nutrition. And it all began with one small but mighty food. Modern research supports what Ellen discovered firsthand. For most older adults, eating 1 to 2 eggs a day is not only safe, but incredibly beneficial. The idea that eggs are harmful because of their cholesterol content has been widely misunderstood. In reality, eggs can actually help balance good cholesterol levels and support heart health when eaten as part of a balanced diet. Most importantly, eggs are soft, versatile, easy to digest, and full of the kind of protein that older bodies can actually absorb and use. For seniors who don't eat much meat or who struggle with appetite, this is especially important. Sometimes the solution to fatigue and weakness isn't more medicine, more rest, or more tests. Sometimes it's just the right food, at the right time, with the right intention. So if you've been feeling weaker, slower, or more tired than usual, perhaps it's time to look again at the humble egg. Because while it may seem simple, it just might be the fuel your body has been waiting for. In the next section, we'll explore how eggs work inside the body to support muscle repair and strength, and why combining them with even gentle movement can help you feel more energized, balanced, and confident in your day-to-day life. Number 4. How eggs support muscle repair and strength. At first, Robert thought his fatigue was just part of getting older. He'd always been active, tending the garden, walking to the store, even fixing things around the house. But lately, his legs didn't feel as steady. His grip weakened. He had to pause halfway up the stairs. He didn't feel sick, just slower, more fragile. His doctor mentioned he might be losing muscle and suggested a few diet changes, including something surprisingly simple: start eating more eggs. Robert was doubtful. Eggs? What could a small, everyday food possibly do to help his tired, aging muscles? But still, he gave it a try. One soft boiled egg with toast in the morning, maybe another scrambled with vegetables for lunch. After a few weeks, he started noticing something that felt almost hopeful. His steps felt firmer. His arms didn't tremble when lifting bags. He even began standing up from the couch without using his hands. It wasn't dramatic, but it was real. What was happening inside Robert's body wasn't a miracle. It was a natural biological response to proper nourishment. You see, every time we eat protein, the body breaks it down into amino acids. These are the raw materials your muscles need to repair themselves, rebuild strength, and function well. Among those amino acids, leucine plays a starring role. Think of it as a light switch. Leucine tells your muscles, wake up, it's time to grow. And eggs are especially rich in leucine, making them one of the best foods for stimulating muscle repair in older adults. As we age, our bodies experience something called anabolic resistance, a fancy term for the idea that muscles become less sensitive to protein. In other words, a 30-year-old might build muscle easily from a small portion of protein, but a 70-year-old needs more protein and better quality protein to get the same result. That's where eggs come in. They're not just high in protein, they're packed with complete protein. All 9 essential amino acids in the right balance and in a form the body can absorb with ease. And the benefits go beyond muscle. Vitamin D in eggs helps your muscles contract and your bones stay strong, key for balance and preventing falls. Choline supports communication between your brain and your muscles, improving coordination and reaction time. B vitamins help turn food into usable energy, which means fewer crashes and more stamina. And because eggs are soft, easy to prepare, and gentle on the stomach, they're ideal for older adults who struggle with chewing or appetite. Robert didn't change everything in his life. He didn't join a gym or start lifting weights. What he did do was give his body what it had been quietly asking for, a little support. And day by day, his body responded. With every bite, his muscles received the message. We're not done yet. We're still needed. Let's rebuild. The truth is, strength in older age doesn't just come from movement. It comes from what fuels the movement. And sometimes that fuel is as humble as an egg. Let me ask you this. If your legs feel unsteady, if you're struggling to stand tall or lift what used to be easy, could the solution start not with more effort, but with the right nourishment? Because food is not just comfort, it's not just routine, it's medicine, it's information. And when we give our body the nutrients it's been missing, especially the kind of protein found in eggs, we may be surprised by how much strength still lives within us. In the next section, we'll compare eggs to other sources of protein, like meat, dairy, beans, and supplements, and explore why eggs may be the most practical and powerful choice for seniors who want to stay strong, energized, and independent. Number 5. Eggs versus other protein sources for seniors. After Robert began feeling stronger with just a few eggs added to his diet, he wondered, what about other protein foods? Should I be eating more meat or drinking protein shakes too? It's a good question, and one that many older adults ask when trying to rebuild muscle and energy. There are many sources of protein, but they are not all created equal, especially for aging bodies. Let's start with meat. Chicken, beef, and pork are all rich in protein and can certainly help maintain muscle mass. But for many seniors, meat is harder to chew and digest, especially if it's not prepared tenderly. Red meat can also be high in saturated fat, which may not be ideal for heart health if eaten too often. Some older adults avoid meat entirely because of past concerns about cholesterol or because cooking it feels too labor-intensive. Others have dentures or sensitive digestion and find meat sits too heavily in the stomach. Then there's fish. Fish is an excellent source of protein and healthy fats like omega-3s, which support the brain and heart. But fresh fish can be expensive, and preparing it safely requires care with bones and texture. Not everyone enjoys the taste or smell of fish, and for those on fixed incomes, it may not be a regular option. Plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, tofu, and nuts are wonderful in many ways, and they're packed with fiber and beneficial nutrients, but they're not always complete proteins, meaning they don't contain all 9 essential amino acids in the ideal balance your body needs to build muscle. You can combine plant proteins, like rice and beans, to get a full profile, but that requires planning. And for seniors with digestive sensitivities, beans can cause bloating or discomfort. Some turn to protein powders or shakes. While they can be convenient, not all powders are created with older adults in mind. Some are filled with sugar, artificial sweeteners, or hard-to-pronounce ingredients. They may be helpful as a supplement in certain cases, but they often lack the warmth, taste, and satisfaction of a real meal. And that's why eggs stand out. They're gentle on the stomach, soft for those with dental issues, quick to prepare, affordable, and packed with complete high-quality protein that's easy to absorb. One egg gives you nearly 7 grams of protein, plus vitamins B, 12D, choline, and antioxidants like lutein for your eyes. And perhaps most importantly, eggs are familiar and comforting. They don't feel like diet food or hospital food. They feel like home. Robert found this especially meaningful. "It's not just that eggs made me stronger," he said. "It's that I could make them myself. They reminded me I'm still in charge of my health." Let me ask you gently, when it comes to fueling your body, is convenience more important, or is it how well your body actually uses what you give it? For many seniors, the answer is both. And that's what makes eggs so powerful. They're simple, affordable, versatile, and incredibly effective. They don't just help you eat more protein, they help your body actually use it, which is what truly matters after 60. In the next section, we'll talk about how many eggs you can safely eat after 60 and how to include them in your daily routine without worry. Number 6, how many eggs should you eat after 60? When Linda turned 70, she began noticing the kinds of changes that many older adults quietly face. She had more trouble standing up from the sofa, and she couldn't walk around the grocery store without needing to rest halfway through. Her doctor told her she was losing muscle mass and needed more protein. But when he mentioned eating eggs, she immediately looked unsure. "Aren't eggs bad for my cholesterol?" she asked. "I haven't touched the yolk in years." That hesitation is common. For decades, eggs were unfairly labeled as bad for the heart. Older generations were told to limit them strictly, sometimes to just 1 or 2 per week. But today, modern science paints a very different picture, especially for older adults. It's true that one large egg contains about 186 milligrams of cholesterol, most of it in the yolk. But research over the past 20 years has shown that for the vast majority of people, dietary cholesterol has little to no effect on blood cholesterol. In fact, trans fats, refined sugars, sedentary lifestyle, and ultra-processed foods play a much bigger role in heart disease than eggs ever did. Most healthy adults can safely enjoy 1 to 2 whole eggs per day. And for older adults, those eggs can actually provide vital support for muscles, memory, and energy. So, how much is right for you? For someone over 60 and generally good health, 1 to 2 eggs per day is not only safe, it may be ideal. That amount delivers about 12 to 14 grams of complete protein, plus key nutrients like vitamin D for bones, choline for brain and nerve function, and vitamin B12 for energy and red blood cell production. That's a lot of power packed into a small, humble food. Linda decided to give it a try. She started by adding 1 poached egg to her morning toast a few times a week. Then she tried scrambled eggs with spinach, tomatoes, and a sprinkle of herbs for lunch. Within a couple of weeks, she noticed her energy levels improving. She no longer needed a nap every afternoon. Her hands didn't shake as much when she opened jars. Her walks felt less exhausting. And best of all, her blood test came back completely normal. Her cholesterol didn't spike at all. In fact, her HDL, good cholesterol, even improved slightly. Of course, if you have a personal history of heart disease, diabetes, or high cholesterol, it's always wise to talk with your doctor before making changes. But in most cases, eggs are not the enemy. They're part of the solution. And remember, how you prepare them matters. Boiled, poached, or scrambled with olive oil and vegetables are far healthier than fried eggs cooked in butter or paired with salty bacon. Think of eggs as a building block, not a burden. They're easy to chew, gentle on the stomach, and incredibly versatile. You can eat them with oatmeal, avocado, steamed greens, or whole grain toast. You can even batch cook hard-boiled eggs for a quick protein snack during the day. Linda now eats an egg nearly every morning, and she looks forward to it. She says it makes her feel like she's doing something small but powerful for herself, starting the day with strength. It's simple, she says, but it works. I feel more like myself again. So let me ask you gently, have you been avoiding eggs out of habit or out of old advice that no longer fits your life? Because as we age, it's not about eating more. It's about eating smarter. And sometimes the smartest thing you can do is return to something you once thought was off limits and realize it's exactly what your body needs now. In the next section, we'll explore what to do if you can't eat eggs because of allergies, taste preferences, or dietary choices, and introduce simple, powerful alternatives that still give your muscles the fuel they need to stay strong, steady, and active. Number 7. What if you can't eat eggs? Alternatives that work. When George was told that eating eggs could help rebuild his strength, he sighed and shook his head. "I wish I could," he said, "but I've had an allergy since I was a boy. One bite and I break out in hives." For a moment, he felt discouraged. If eggs were so effective at restoring muscle and energy, what was he supposed to do without them? Was there still hope? The answer, thankfully, is yes. While eggs are one of the most efficient, affordable, and complete sources of protein, they are not the only option, and they're certainly not the only way for seniors to stay strong. The key is to focus on high-quality protein, meaning protein that contains all 9 essential amino acids your body needs but can't make on its own. These amino acids are critical for repairing muscle tissue, supporting your immune system, and keeping your bones and nerves functioning properly. For someone like George, there are several egg-free foods that can do the job beautifully. One of the best is Greek yogurt, especially the plain, unsweetened kind. It's high in protein, rich in calcium, and often easier to digest than milk. Just one serving can contain up to 15 to 20 grams of protein. George began adding a cup of Greek yogurt to his breakfast with some fruit and crushed walnuts. Within a few weeks, he said he felt more satisfied, and his energy lasted longer through the day. Another excellent option is cottage cheese, which is soft, mild in flavor, and loaded with protein and B vitamins. For lunch, George began spreading cottage cheese on whole grain crackers or mixing it with chopped cucumbers and herbs. A refreshing, easy-to-eat dish that required no cooking at all. If dairy isn't suitable, fatty fish like salmon, tuna, and sardines provide not only complete protein, but also omega-3 fatty acids, which fight inflammation and support brain health. Canned versions are affordable, shelf-stable, and can be added to salads, soups, or sandwiches. For plant-based eaters, it takes a bit more planning, but it's absolutely possible. Tofu and tempeh, made from soybeans, are both complete proteins and can be sautéed, baked, or blended into soups. Lentils, chickpeas, quinoa, and black beans are all excellent sources of plant protein, especially when paired together to form complete amino acid profiles. For example, eating brown rice with lentils or peanut butter on whole grain toast gives your body the full spectrum it needs to support muscle maintenance. And for those with small appetites or difficulty preparing meals, protein-rich nutritional drinks made with simple ingredients can be helpful. Look for products low in sugar and high in whey or plant-based protein, and always talk to your doctor before adding supplements to your routine. The key is consistency. Your body doesn't just need protein once in a while, it needs a steady stream throughout the day. Whether it's from yogurt, beans, fish, or tofu, the goal is to give your muscles what they need to rebuild every single day. George, despite his allergy, found a rhythm that worked for him. Greek yogurt in the morning, tuna salad for lunch, lentil stew in the evening. He even joked, "I never thought I'd say this, but I don't miss the eggs." And the best part? He was walking farther, standing taller, and feeling stronger, just like someone who had unlocked a door that was never really closed to begin with. So if eggs aren't right for you, don't worry. There are many other doors. The important thing is to choose one and walk through it. In the next section, we'll look at how movement combined with protein creates real lasting results. Because food alone is powerful, but food plus action is transformation. So here we are, at the end of a video, but perhaps at the beginning of something new. You came here maybe out of curiosity, or maybe because something inside you has been quietly whispering, "I don't feel as strong as I used to." You've noticed it, the slower walks, the longer naps, the extra hand on the rail when going upstairs. You've blamed it on age, maybe even accepted it as normal. But today, maybe you've learned something that changes that. What you've discovered is powerful, not because it's dramatic, but because it's simple and real. Your body still wants to protect you, to hold you up, to move you forward, if you give it the fuel it needs. And that fuel isn't fancy. It's not expensive. It's not locked away in a health store or a pill bottle. It's in your fridge, in your kitchen, in a spoonful of protein-rich yogurt, a forkful of lentils, or a soft-boiled egg eaten with quiet care. We've seen how muscle loss after 60 isn't just a part of getting older. It's a biological process that can be slowed, softened, even reversed, and not through struggle, but through nourishment, through awareness, through choosing foods that don't just fill us, but build us, foods that don't just comfort us, but strengthen us. You heard stories about Ellen, who didn't realize her body was missing key amino acids, about Robert, who regained confidence in his steps, about Linda, who feared eggs would hurt her heart, but learned they could help heal her strength, and about George, who found power even without eggs, just by staying consistent and creative. What ties them all together is not their diet, not their age, but their decision to care for themselves in a new way, to stop seeing weakness as a sign of failure and start seeing it as a signal for support. Because that's what real health is, not perfection, but partnership with your own body. And now, it's your turn. Maybe for you, it's not about lifting weights or walking miles. Maybe it's about standing from a chair without strain, or opening a jar with steadier hands, or simply making it through the day without that heavy sense of fatigue pulling at you. Whatever your goal is, know this: you can begin right now with one small, powerful decision, not next month, not when you feel better, but today. Maybe it's adding a protein-rich breakfast. Maybe it's asking your doctor what's best for your heart. Maybe it's just choosing to believe that strength doesn't disappear. It simply waits for you to return to it. Because you're not done. You are not fragile. You are not too late. You are rebuilding. And every step you take, every bite of nourishing food, every thoughtful breath, every moment of self-kindness is a quiet victory in a longer journey toward a stronger, steadier, more vibrant you. You don't need to do it all at once. You just need to begin. And you just did. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet liked and subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who need this kind of helpful content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll always know when a new video is up. Your support truly means the world to us. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.